Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to City Skylines 2 and the city of Ringholm with me, Emery. As we do a nice flyby here, we can see Chinatown down to the left, Sofia up ahead, and of course, Old Town, followed by Newport in the end. It's been a while. It's been about 3 weeks, I believe. I've been helping my friend to move and do some small renovation. It does really take time. There is still a lot to do, but it's nice to finally be back home, relax, and just enjoy playing some game. So the question for today is, what should we do? Should we continue in Sofia or should we possibly continue here in the area of Newport? Well, I'm not sure. If we take a look at Sofia, we can see that there has been an accident here in the tunnel. Yeah. So let's leave Sofia be for now. Rescue services are probably on their way to address that issue. Yeah. Sofia looks good so far, but let's continue that another time. If we zoom out, we can see the inner parts of the city are right here, and if we pan out, we can see Chesham and the two industrial areas. We could expand the industrial zone, but we have basically no demand, and I plan to build a new industrial area up here, I believe, but I'm waiting for the new British and Port DLC, which should release later this month or possibly next month. Yeah. So let's focus on this area right here and build some homes for single families because we do not have much of that at all. We have some, of course, in Chesham and a little bit in Chinatown. We need to build some connections. The subway should continue, of course, up um, from this area right here and then make a curve down towards the end here where it will terminate. The tramway, though, will follow the coast a little bit. The shoreline maybe somewhere here. Yeah. Of course, to do that, we need to... before we do anything, though, let's check the money situation. We're doing well. Plus 96,000 an hour. We're doing excellent. So money shouldn't be any problems at all. So let's buy a couple of tiles. We'll buy these ones. These are gonna set us back 99,000 a month, but again, and a half a million. But we're doing 96,000 plus an hour. So that is no problems at all. See, we went from 96 to 83,000. That's well within our budget. Yeah, good. So let's start with the tram bridge here. We could just do normal tram tracks all over, but I'm gonna use a road for at least half of the bridge because I want a stop being built here. We need the tram or the other tram to be able to make a stop. I think that would be the best because they can't stop at the tram stop there to the right. So it would be nice if this tram, of course, could let some passengers off in the Chinatown area. Of course, it doesn't go into Chinatown, but at least it could service the area a little bit by having a stop in the outskirts. So let's see if we can get this done in a fairly nice fashion like that. Okay, the road is covered in water, so let's just move it to raise it up a little bit, something like that maybe. Let's see, not 100%, but that should do it absolutely fine. Yeah, so let's just see if we can get some tram tracks onto here without it looking ridiculous. A train, no. Here we are. Let's just upgrade. There. Okay, that's not really what we wanted. Let's see the bridge or elevated mode there. There. Maybe. Yeah. So the thing is, we get connections to all sides, and I don't like this. I don't like this at all, because this curve here is basically way, way, way too sharp. But, yeah, in this case, we just have to let it be, I think. The fencing there is gonna remain, so this is gonna be, we're gonna just, yeah, we're just gonna have to live with it, and it's gonna be an old, not used tram tracks. Let's try to move this gate. Yeah, so this is just gonna be old tracks that is not in use, so of course the fencing has been built. We will also maybe, it's difficult to get the gate here, so let's just remove all the filters and just choose, I guess, props, right? Oh no, it was buildings. Okay, buildings it is. So move that back a little bit. And then we're gonna get some bollards or something else to make it even clearer that these tram tracks going into Chinatown is old and not in use. Let's go into this menu here. We'll go into the industrial props, and we should find these barriers right here. We'll choose the one with the yellow and black stripes. Let's see if we can get them in a nice line, and maybe lower them slightly into the ground, something like that. That is not a line, not the line I wanted anyway. So many options. There we are. That should be absolutely perfect. Let's do the same for the other side. And I think now it's absolutely clear that these tracks are old and not in use anymore. With that done, let's continue with the bridge over here. And with that, the bridge itself is done. We can do a nice station there at the end. Yeah, let's continue with the road and network. Of course, we do want a main road coming down through this area. It will probably go down quite far. We're going to build a 4-lane road. Yeah, 4-lane road I think is the best way to go. Let's start maybe around here. We do reach the border of our lands quite early, so yeah. How is the money situation? Yeah, good. It's good. Let's buy another 4 tiles, possibly 6. Yeah, let's go for 6. We have a lot of money. We don't need to be stingy about that. Now we do have a lot more room to play with. Yeah. And we are still doing a buttload of money. Excellent. The connections are done. We have one connection up there to the highway in the northeast, and another one going to the 4-lane road just crossing Chinatown. Of course, in the future, we'll do another connection up to the north there, connecting to the highway. But for now, let's start by placing down the foundations for the subway. So we'll build a station up here, the one we talked about curving down. We could do that, but I think I want some parking. That's a bit too wide. Let's go for a one-way. Something like that. This should be perfect. And then we will continue the one-way with parking just straight across. Do believe that should be sufficient, so let's do that. And then we'll continue with a normal road without any parking, just up like this. So there should be ample of room to actually get the subway station down. It's gonna come down the subway line like that and then curve down there. Yeah, so let's see if we can place the station itself. Gonna go for an elevated as we usually do. Place it down like that, and this is the station. Yeah, it looks good, with a nice view there of the bridge. We need to move the station a little bit, I do believe. So let's use smooth here and just move it a little bit so it's a little bit more centered. We'll probably need to move it a little bit in as well, so let's do that. I can get the move it tool. Maybe a little bit more there. That should be sufficient. Of course, we're gonna add some houses and stuff underneath there later. But that is it for the first station. So yeah. And with the basic road network done, let's place our subway station down. This is going to be the terminating subway station, and it's going to be a ground level station. And the reason for it being a ground level station is because we're going to have a subway depot just up above it. Let's try to place, I think it's important to place the subway stations down when you're doing the road networks, if you can, if you have the money. It's a lot easier doing it that way than having to demolish, whole districts later. Of course, if you use underground stations, it's not really a big deal. Let's also try to change the color of the roofs to a nice and a lovely red one. Red or brown? Yeah, I think that is absolutely fine. It's a nice station. I think this area is very nice. It's gonna fit the families good. Let's try and see if we can find that train depot though. I do believe I have a smaller variant. I do hope that I have a smaller variant, because otherwise we're gonna run out of space quite early on. This is the station, or not station, the depot. And I did have the Somalia variant, which is awesome. Should we place it? It should be placed close to the station, maybe not that close. A little bit further up would be good. Maybe around here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can work with that. Let's just try to add some tracks and whatnot. So we're just doing the last connection here between the two subway stations. They are now connected, or at least these two stations are. We do need to connect the subway station itself to the road network. As you can see, it doesn't have any power or water at all. I think it's going to be connected through this area here. To do so, we need to extend the road network in this area. Let's continue with the parking. So let's just copy this road and continue straight up this. Maybe have the parking on the same side. I do believe that this area here, next to the station and the subway depot up here, is going to be a fairly new and modern area in the same style as we have up in Newport. And then we're going to have a lot of single family homes. That is, of course, the objective today. So let's try to get a nice curve down here so that we can add the entrance to the subway depot. Give them some power, and that should be fine. And then we continue with the alleyway. If we can find them, do a nice curved road down. Maybe remove the snapping? No? That will do fine. That is absolutely fine. Some trees, of course, need to be removed in this area. A lot need to be removed. But yeah, looking good so far. Looking good so far. The trees are gone, so we do now have a clean plate to work with. Let's try to change the color here of the roof to match the roof of the adjacent subway station. Is the one? No. No, definitely not. Let's not make that one red. And this should be the one. Yep, this is the one. That is fairly close, but I do believe it needs to be a little bit darker, if possible. It's a bit too dark, maybe. That's okay. Maybe if we change this a little bit. I'm not sure if it does this even do anything. Yeah, it does something. It's just very small. But I do believe... There we are. Oh, that's a bit too much. Well, go back a little bit. So we've added a couple of nice ground textures for the depot. I just want to make a small adjustment here. Just create node and then push back this a little bit so we can have a nice line of threes in this end. Yeah, so what we need to do now is go into the decals and find the dirt and just spam a couple of dirt textures out. Are they here? No. Oh, of course, they're going to be under this. So we're just going to spam a couple of these down to make it look like this area has been used. Of course, to give it a little bit more dirty look. So let's get a couple of these down. I have fenced the entire depot in. I have left a couple of gaps. What we will do is actually fill them in with another kind of fence to kind of simulate a gate. I'm not sure that there are any gates in the game. That's the wrong one. This is the right one. Look at that. That absolutely looks like a gate to me. So let's continue by filling these areas in to create some gates. As you just saw, we did expand the depot a little bit. All that remains is to add some vehicles and other props. So let's do that real quickly. The depot is pretty much done at this point. We have added a lot of vehicles, a lot of props, of course. I'm gonna add another couple of cars throughout. We might come back to the depot if there is any changes that we want to do in the future. But for now, just add a couple of cars and we'll be done. Maybe a couple of these small trucks. Like that. Yeah. We've changed the color of the trains here to yellow. I'm not sure what color they'll be in the future, but for now, yellow will do. Yellow will do fine. Yeah, so this is the depot. It turned out pretty well, I think, even though some adjustments might be done in the future. Anyway, it's time to actually continue with the main objective, and that was to add some single family homes. As you know, I do usually place my buildings one by one, except when it comes to these single family homes. I think that's a bit tedious, so let's just place them down, and then we'll start with the new area just beneath the subway depot. While the houses are being built, let's focus on the area right next to the subway station. We're going to build some modern apartment style complexes. But before we do that, let's build a small seaside promenade just alongside the sea here, of course. If we can find the pedestrian pavement, there it is. So let's start in the corner down here. We'll choose this tool right there, remove all that, and just snake this all alongside the water edge and the road. And with that last connection, the seaside promenade is done, and I think it looks pretty nice. We'll, of course, add some benches and decorations in the future, but for now, that will do fine. And if we look to the right here, we can see that the houses are as well growing in nicely, which is awesome. Before we start the apartment complex, let's try to hide the depot a little bit and reduce the noise by adding some nice greenery. Well, we are almost done with this block here. Let's just add a couple of buildings to the corner here. We'll put you down and maybe two more. Should we use a lower one? Nah, let's go for the same height for all of these. We'll just move them into position so we can get them nicely lined up. This one will have to curve a little bit, have it on an angle, something like that possibly, and we'll of course move this one to a nice position as well. Just a little bit on this N1 that we need to fix. Looking fairly good, maybe just a tiny, yeah, just a tiny adjustment. We'll move that in a little bit. I think that is good. Yeah, that is good enough. So we'll just have to address the surface here. So let's just move this out a little bit like that. And then I think we're done. Maybe just one more palm tree, of course, in the corner here. Yeah, so this first area is done. This first block is done, and I think it looks very, very nice indeed. And with that, I think it's time also to end this episode. We've been at it for almost 30 minutes now, and that means that I've been at it for maybe 3 hours or something like that. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy this episode, please give it a like and a thumbs up. And subscribe if you want. Tell me in the comments what you did or did not like. And until the next time, please have a good one.